Hello, I'm David Hughes. Welcome to Your Perfect Body, the podcast of the Esoteric Teaching Community. Today's selection is an essay entitled Surrender to Krishna. Now we continue our detailed study of Bhagavad-gita with the following shloka. Karpanya-dosopahata-svabhavah, prcchami tvam dharma-sammudha-cetah, chreyah syan niscitam bruhi me, sisyas sadhi tvam prapannam. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Bhagavad-gita 2:7. So this is a very important verse in Bhagavad-gita. It signifies the greatest turning point in life, when we surrender to Krishna and accept him as our spiritual instructor, either directly or through his lineage. Here Arjuna admits that he has been karpanya-dosha. Karpanya means miserly, and dosha means fault. When one does not act according to his duty, that is the fault of miserliness. In Vedic society, everyone's duty is determined by his natural tendency to act in a certain way. Yasya hi svabhavasya tasya so durati kramaha. Everyone has got their natural propensity, svabhava, and you cannot change this artificially. One who is habituated to act in a certain way, or whose natural characteristics are developed in a particular way, is very difficult to change. The example is given, svayadi kriyate raja saking naso uparhanam. If you make a dog a king, does it mean that he'll not chase a bone? The dog's nature is to chew on bones. So even if you dress him like a king and let him sit on a nice throne, as soon as you throw a bone in front of him, he'll jump off the throne, chase after it, and chew it. This is called svabhava. In the animal species, it's not possible to change one's nature, which is given by the material energy, prakriti. Purusha prakritisto hi, bhunte prakriti jan gunan, karanang gunasangosya sadasadyoni janmasu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. Bhagavad-gita 13:22. Why? All living entities are part and parcel of God. Therefore, the original spiritual quality of the living entity is as good as God. The quality is the same, but the quantity is different. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is unlimited, and the jiva soul is atomic. Therefore, he tends to fall down into the material energy. Mamai vangso jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatanaha, mana sastandindriyani prakriti stani karshati. The living entities in this material conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Bhagavad-gita 15:7. So if you take a drop of seawater, the chemical composition or quality is the same as the ocean, but the quantity is different. It is a drop, and the sea is a vast ocean. Similarly, we are exactly of the same quality as Krishna. Therefore, we can understand the spiritual qualities of Krishna by studying ourselves. Well, why do people think that God is impersonal? If I am of the same quality of God, I am a person, So God is also a person. How can he be impersonal and be the source of so many persons? If qualitatively we are one with God, then as we feel our individuality, so why should we refuse God, his individuality? Therefore, the impersonal argument is nonsense. The impersonalist's intelligence is covered by causeless envy of God. They cannot understand what is the nature of God. In the Bible, it is also said, man is made in the image of God. In other words, you can study God's qualities by studying your own qualities, at least to a certain extent. Simply, the difference is in the quantity. God is infinite, and we are infinitesimal. For example, we humans have got some productive capacity. Every individual soul is producing something by their work. But the quantity of our production cannot be compared with the production of God. That is the difference. For example, we are producing a few little satellites. We take much pride that now we have launched the space shuttle. But that is not perfect. It sometimes crashes. But God has produced so many planets and satellites, millions and trillions of planets, very big, heavy planets and stars. Just like this planet is carrying so many big mountains and seas. But still it is floating in space just like a cotton swab. This is God's power. Gama vishya chabutani dharyam yaham ojasa. I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. Bhagavad-gita 15:13. So, who is sustaining all these big planets? In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find that they are being carried by Sankarshan, an expansion of an expansion of an expansion of Krishna. So, the spiritual qualities of the jiva and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are similar, but the quantity is vastly different. Because the qualities are similar, we have got all the same propensities as God, as Krishna. Krishna has got the loving propensity with his pleasure potency, Srimati Radharani. Similarly, because we are part and parcel of Krishna, we have also got this loving propensity. This is svabhavah, the original quality of the living entity. But when we come in contact with this material nature, our original spiritual qualities become covered by the material modes of nature. Krishna does not come into contact with the material nature. Therefore, Krishna's name is Achyuta, because he never falls down. But we are prone to fall down, to be overwhelmed by the influence of Prakriti. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself to be the doer of activities that are actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. Bhagavad-gita 3:27. As soon as we fall down under the clutches of this prakriti, material nature, we come under the influence of the three material modes. Prakriti is composed of three qualities: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So we become captured by one of these qualities. That is the cause of our material activities, karanam guna sangaha. Purusha prakriti stohi bhunkte prakriti jan gunan. Karanam guna sangosya sarasad yoni janmasu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of material life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. Bhagavad-gita 13:22. Guna Sangha means the soul is associating with the qualities of material energy. That is the cause of our entrapment in material nature. One can ask, if the living entity is as good as God, then why has one living entity become a dog, another living entity has become a human being, and yet another has become a demigod like Brahma? The reason is karanam guna sangha asya, because he's associating with a particular guna or quality of material nature, sattva-guna, goodness, rajo-guna, passion, or tamo-guna, ignorance. How guna sangha acts is described very vividly in the Upanishads. Just like when a fire creates sparks, sometimes the sparks fly away from the fire.